Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Our most recent video showing you all a tour of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail did so well, I really wanted to show everyone some of the bottles we brought back. Obviously, this is only 5 of the, you all go back and count and tell me. I think it's 12, 13, 14, 100. I don't really remember exactly what we brought back, but I want to show you a few of these bad boys we brought back and talk a little bit about each one. And then we're gonna do a little bit of a semi-blind tasting. I obviously know what's in the glasses, but I have no idea what order they're in. So I thought it might be kind of neat to do some samples here, check these things out, talk a little bit about each one, and either see if I can guess what's what, or if nothing else, see which one I like the most, and see how happy or sad I am based on the choices that I made. So with that in mind, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start on my left, your right, and talk about the first one here, Bardstown Discovery Series 8. I know I talked a bit about this one in my last video at the very end when I talked about how I had a Bardstown Discovery 11 in my bourbon locker already, and I really liked it. I think that 11 is something like 73%. What is it, 13-year-old wild turkey in that thing? So it's a complete banger of a bottle. I love that thing. This one, I have had some of. To preface this, all these bottles have been opened. I have tried all of them. They've been open for probably 2 months or so, at least most of them have. I think, yeah, all these have been open about 2 months. I didn't bring any of the fresh cracks down, so this is all pretty fair. We don't have any fresh cracks, any neck pours. I know some of you guys are really gonna be passionate about that. But anyway, so this one, unlike the Discovery 11 being, mostly, I think, 13-year-old wild turkey, this one is 66% Kentucky origin, 12 years, so some Kentucky bourbon, 66% 12 year. We got 7 year from Indiana. We all know where that came from. And then we've got 11% Ontario, 100% corn. So we got 11% 12-year Canadian corn whiskey in here. And then 6% in here from Indiana that's 95.5. So this one I do enjoy as well. I don't think I like it as much as the 11, but it's still a great pour, which I have to say because of the price. Moving right along, we have the Bernheim Barrel Proof. This we picked up at Heaven Hill the morning of our You Do Bourbon experience, where I got to bottle my own bottle of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, which I'll throw a quick clip in the video so you can see me filling that and throwing the cork in that that bottle of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. That is a fantastic batch. This was what they had behind the counter that morning, and when I grabbed this, I think there were 3 or 4 left. So I decided I had to grab it. This is an A224. It's 125.2 proof. I do enjoy this one as well. Back to this, I didn't tell you all. This is a 114.1 proof on the Bardstown. And then again, we've got 125.2 on this. Common theme we've got going here, I believe these are all barrel proof for the most part. So we're gonna have some kind of hotter proofed bourbons here we're talking about. None of these are really, blended or watered down to a lower proof point. They all seem to be what they come out at. I forgot to mention, proof-wise, on this one, we're 114.1, and then back to the Bernheim, we are at 125.2. Moving right along, we have the bottle we picked up from the Four Roses bottling facility near Jim Beam. We found this one. This is one of their distiller picks. This is picked by Brent Elliott. And this is a, what are you? You're an OBSO. So those of us who are used to a mash bill and yeast strain or two from a distillery or two that we enjoy, I never know what to do with Four Roses. There's 10 recipes, and then every recipe has its own batch of single barrels. So you might find a recipe you like one day, and then all of a sudden you're gonna move to a completely different recipe because the single barrel is gonna speak on its own. We're gonna do another video on the channel coming up soon explaining a bit about the single barrel process that distilleries go through and talking about what a single barrel actually means and comparing an array of single barrels to kind of show and talk a bit about the difference from one barrel to another, what things can really turn into from one to the next. But regardless, really enjoy this one. This one I believe is a bit of a rare bird for Four Roses. From what I've seen, usually these private selects are somewhere in the 108 to 113, 14 proof range. This one checks in at a even 120 proof. I've only ever seen one above 120 proof from these guys. So this one's kind of neat, bit higher proof than usual, but fantastic. I hope. We're gonna find out in a minute. Next, we have Silver Grove from New Riff. We stopped at New Riff as the last distillery stop on the way home. I was really torn. I did pick up a single barrel rye from them that I really enjoyed, and I was about to check out, and I had a single barrel bourbon in my hand, and I just had this feeling. I had this feeling that, you know, I'm gonna see single barrel bourbons from New Riff on a store shelf somewhere, some store picks at some random location around the country, but I bet I'm not gonna find this Silver Grove. And I talked to the people at the store and they said, yeah, you're probably not. This kind of a distillery exclusive deal, unless they were lying to me, so we'll find out. Regardless, I had to try this. I had to put the single barrel bourbon back. You know, I've really been falling into rye lately, so I liked the rye. But I wanted to give this a shot. So this is on our list too, and this one clocks in at 113.5 proof. So also, you know, pretty hot for, you know, your average bourbon drinker. Last but most certainly not least, we have a Russell's Reserve pick from Wild Turkey. This is from the temporary gift shop they had set up near the distillery. This is not from the new Welcome Center. I know the new Welcome Center just reopened recently. We went in mid-March of this year and I had my fingers crossed. I was doing bourbon dances. I was doing everything under the sun that I could possibly think of. But unfortunately, I think we missed the opening by about a month or a month and a half. But I will say, I really enjoyed the little house they had set up and the little setup they had for gift shop as well as the bar in the back. I got to try Camp Nelson single rick house there. It was phenomenal. Who knows, maybe they would have had that at the main bourbon experience they have set up now, but I really like the kind of low-key experience they had set up. But regardless, they had this Russell's Reserve single barrel set up there and really wanted to give this a shot. You know, I have a Russell's 13 in the locker, but I don't have any of these single barrels, so I figured what better time than the present. Let's grab one of these right from the gift shop. This one's 110 proof. I do enjoy this one. I've tried it before. Now that we've gotten through a little description and a story about all these bottles, we're going to slide them out of the way and get to the real meat and potatoes of the show here. We're going to start tasting these different bottles and seeing what I like, what I don't. Can I pick which one's which? Do I like one better than the other? And you know, see where my taste profile really lands on these 5 bottles that I brought home from the Kentucky Bourbon Trail a couple months ago. So we'll slide these over and, you know, keep them in frame so you all can keep an eye on what we're doing. So my wife was kind enough to come in and swap these around for me. I do have markings on them on the bottom, so I know what's what once we remix these. They were poured in this order. So we started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we look at these on the bottom of the glasses, we'll be able to know which is which. So we're going to get into number 1 here. They're all pretty short pours because, you know, it's a school night. We're not gonna go too crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, none of these are gonna smell bad. I mean, none of these are gonna smell or taste bad. These are all pretty heavy hitters. I mean, oh, it smells phenomenal. I'm getting a lot of cherry. I mean, I'd say it smells hot, but I don't think anything's under 110 proof, so they're all gonna smell hot. Let's give it a taste. Oh, wow. It's got a fair amount of heat to it. Big surprise, I know, everything's pretty warm here tonight. It doesn't feel too bad. I mean, I'd say somewhere in the 110 to 15 proof range, give or take. It's tasty. Like I said, I get a lot of cherry on it. That finish lingers. It definitely hangs around for a while. The ethanol burn sticks around for a while, but it's not bad. It's warming. It's really nice. Maybe some kind of baking spices in there. It's nice. You know, I definitely not to the point where I can pull every single flavor out of these things, but I know what I like and what I don't. So we're gonna roll with that. It's definitely tasty. I like that one. So we're gonna, you know, it's hard when you have the first one. You never know. Is that a leader or a follower? But we're gonna kind of leave that in the middle for now and see what number 2 does for us. Okay, so now I'm getting way more caramel, way more vanilla. You can really smell the proof on it. Getting a lot more of that caramel vanilla flavor than I was getting on number 1. Okay, a lot of cinnamon bomb compared to the first one. No cherry whatsoever. Ton of cinnamon, more heat. I would say this is probably, although I'm looking at these, it doesn't make a difference. This has got to be closer to 118 to 120, I think. I could see this one throwing me and maybe being something like the Silver Grove, since it's completely a profile I'm just not picking up on. Or it could be the Bardstown, because it's a blend of things that who knows and I might not be used to. I don't think it's the Russells. I don't think it's the Four Roses. So far, I don't think it's the Bernheim, but we'll see. I think it's one of the other two. That's a tough one. I like it. I don't know which one I like better. You know, I like the nose on this better, but I'm not the biggest cinnamon profile guy, so I'm gonna move this one a little bit behind number one here. I think this could be the Russells of the Four Roses, if you ask me, number one. Number two, again, I'm thinking Bardstown or the Silver Grove. I'm kind of leaning Silver Grove, but we'll see here in a minute. All right, on to number three. This one to me has a really balanced nose. I can't tell exactly what I'm getting out of it, but nothing's offensive, which is always a good sign, I feel like. Especially when you're dealing with barrel-proof bourbon. It's either really gonna be pleasing or be really offensive, one of the two. Let's give it a taste. Okay, this one's got a lot going on. There's a lot happening in this one. So the nose is kind of in the middle. I don't detect anything. I mean, I could go through and give you all the usual bourbon tasting notes. Hey, it's vanilla. Hey, it's caramel. Hey, it's cherry. Hey, it's molasses. Hey, it's whatever. Those things are all present. I'm trying to find something unique. In this nose, I don't get a ton of anything extra special. On the taste though, there's a lot going on. It definitely hits you up front with the proof, and then it lingers for a bit. The finish is long. There's less cinnamon. There's a bit, I'm getting more of those baking spice notes, some more of the cherry, a bit of cinnamon, but nothing near like this. This was cinnamon with banana, which I was pretty shocked to find. This one is more tame from the cinnamon front, but it's more spicy from the proof perspective. As far as ranking, it's tough. It's gonna probably be a tie with number two for now. We may work our way back if I can't make my decision up, but let's move on to number four and keep this party rolling. All right, this one smells, you of course can smell the proof, but in my opinion, it smells older, maybe more mature. Okay, that's probably the hottest one yet, but I think the balance is the best. That one's gotta be north of 120 proof, which really narrows it down to only a couple of these. We're in Four Roses or Bernheim territory, I think, on this one. I think the balance is so much better of the flavor profile. The nose on this one is fantastic. I could just smell this forever. Who needs air when you have this? I think this is my new oxygen. Yeah, that's hot. That's a hot one. But we're gonna slide that one up to the leader. I like that a lot. There's something about the finish I can't quite put my finger on that I'm not a fan of, but I think that's a leader for me. We'll ponder that for a minute. We're gonna move on to number five and see if number five knocks all these out of the park or if it's somewhere else in the lineup. Oh, okay. Remember how I said I could live in the nose of the last one? I think I was wrong. I think it's this one. Let's get a real good swirl job on that guy. Oh my goodness. Cherry cola. Oh, just cherry and sweet ethanol. Fantastic color too. Even in a short pour, fantastic color. You probably can't see it, but I can see it. I've got an opinion on what this might be just on the nose alone. I think this is the Four Roses. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh my good gracious. So again, the finish on this one, there's something that, I don't know if I want to use the word astringent, but there's something at the end of both of these. I can't tell exactly what it is. It's not that I don't like it. It's just if it wasn't present, these would be phenomenal pours for me. At the end of the day, every one of these is fantastic. But what I'm trying to do here is pick out what's the winner, right? And sometimes it's difficult to discern between a couple of really smoking hot, delicious barrel-proof pours. Let me get another taste of this guy and see what I can figure out. One more swirl. Man, yeah. So far, that's a winner for me. I'm debating if I'm gonna go back through these. I really wanna create my own tasting and review style. I don't, there's a lot of phenomenal other channels out there doing bourbon tastings and reviews, and I don't want to borrow too much from any of those guys, but I've got some great ideas, but I really want to kind of create my own thing. So you're gonna all help me develop this. If you have any ideas for me, I'm happy to hear them out. You know, leave me a note down in the comments. Let me know how you'd like to see me review these things. If you like me doing 3 or 4 or 5, if you want me to really instead hammer down on one and really talk through one and only talk about that, or maybe just do a back-to-back face-off, kind of a head-to-head thing. I'm open to any ideas at this point. I'd like to, you know, hear from the community and see what you all have to say. Let me do just a quick taste back through all 5 from 5 to 1, see if my opinions change on any of these things, and then we're gonna do a final ranking and let you know what I think is what and what I think is the winner. That is spicy. That is spicy. Spicy. You're spicy, sir. So we want a 4, 2, whatever we're on. It's harder to count the more of these you have. I think this is the Bernheim. I think this is the Four Roses. I think that because on one hand, trying this is creamier. The Bernheim's a wheated bourbon, and it's gonna have that kind of a creamier mouthfeel to it. However, after the cream comes heat, comes ethanol, comes burn. And I think that's 5 or 6 proof higher than the Four Roses. I think these are both the hottest 2 of the lot. I think this is the Bernheim, I think that's the Four Roses. I'm still sticking with Four Roses, if that's what it is. Number 5 here in the lead. Yeah, that one, number 3 has a lot of redeeming qualities, but it doesn't hold a candle, in my opinion, to these, particularly number 5. So we're gonna leave that here at the back for now. There's that cinnamon. Woo! Cinnamon Express. We're gonna call this Cinnamon Express. Whoever this is, I have a feeling I know who this is. If you don't have a Cinnamon Express label for a store pick, it's time. Yeah, cinnamon, yeah. If you're looking for cinnamon, it's tasty. If you're not looking for cinnamon, it's last place. I'm not looking for cinnamon, so it's going last place. It's still a fantastic pour, but I've got to move it down because these others have to have some room. And finally, number 1. Let's go back to number 1 and see what we think. So much more approachable on the nose. Goodness, I mean, honestly, my mouth is still full of cinnamon. I should probably let that settle for a minute. Like, I'd be smart to have some water, but you know, all I have is a beer sign and a trumpet. So we'll talk more about that later. That's a story for a different day. I'm sure some of you are gonna have some questions, but send them on in. We'll talk. We'll answer some questions for you. You got Q's, I got A's. My Office fans can sound off in the comments. That's tough. I really liked number 1 in the beginning, but after getting down here, I don't like it as much. This is tough because originally I had 2 and 3 tied, but now I feel like I'm gonna have 1 and 2 tied. You know, 1's good, and the things about 2 that are offensive aren't present in 1, but the things that are fantastic about 2 are also not present in 1. 2 has cinnamon overload, but it also has marshmallow and banana and that sweet, sweet proof that we all love near and dear. I mean, I'm telling you, this smells like it could be a Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye. I mean, that's the nose I'm getting. Like, it's muted a bit, but I'm getting that banana marshmallow cinnamon profile that I see a lot on those Jack Daniel's barrel proof ryes. Yeah, weird as it sounds, this is gonna be our final order. It's gonna be, well, we don't know what order they're in. So interestingly enough, our order is last to first, literally is first to last. If y'all are ready, drum roll please, let's find out. I suppose we should probably start from the back and see what the results are. So in last place we have number 5, which for those of you paying attention from home means Russell's Reserve. I really thought this would place higher. I never thought it was gonna place at the top, but I thought this would be not last place. But again, you know, the 110 proof, I'm a bit of a proof queen, I feel like. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'd like this at a higher proof. I don't know. I do like a lot of the turkey profile, but for whatever reason, compared to its competitors tonight, this one just didn't quite cut it for me. That was 5th place. Let's see who's next. And in 4th, we have number 3. Oh no. Uh-oh. It's the Four Roses. I could have sworn this was the Silver Grove. Really? The Four Roses had that much cinnamon? All right, kids. I'll be real with you for a minute. This is the best part about blind tastings, is when you think you know what you're talking about and then you just get humbled immediately. And the even better part is when you do it in front of, you know, YouTube and everyone in the world, and it's forever and it's on the internet, and you're like, yeah, I don't actually know what I'm talking about, which is, it's kind of cool to not know what you're talking about. So what I thought was Silver Grove and has a lot of cinnamon and banana and marshmallow, turns out it's Four Roses pick. It's Four Roses Private Select from the distillery. It is, what did I say it was? OBSO. I will say though, this is the high rye mash bill. This is 35% rye. So maybe I'm onto something. Maybe my tasters aren't as far off as I thought they were. All right, third place. We have number 1, Bardstown Discovery Series 8. Not overly surprised. It's a great pour. I don't personally know if it's worth the MSRP. I know Discovery is kind of a flagship line for their blending, and I think they do some great stuff. 8's good, 11's better. I haven't had anything other than the 2. A lot of people talk about some of the early ones being phenomenal. I've never had them to compare. It's a beautiful bottle. It's got a great stopper. I mean, you know, what do you want me to say? It tastes great. Something in here was a bit off to me. What was one? That's right. This is the one where I couldn't put my finger on it. It's a good bourbon, but I can't associate it with anything. I don't have a frame of reference for this one. And it's probably because of this Kentucky, Indiana, Ontario, and then high rye Indiana blend. It's just, there's a lot going on. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I'm not quite to the point where I'm able to pick those things out and say, here's the things I enjoy and what I don't. I think it's a good bottle. You know, again, 140 bucks. I don't know if that's, you know, if you're new into bourbon, maybe skip one of these guys and get something different. I mean, on this table, honestly, this Silver Grove, which we haven't, if you've noticed, those of you keeping track at home, we haven't talked about yet. Silver Grove somehow is in the top 2, which is shocking to me. I completely expected Silver Grove to be last place. And it is, I mean, again, I believe it's a distillery exclusive bottle, but I think it was $56, $58. I mean, it's under half the price of this Bardstown. It's under this, it's under this, it's under this. It's the cheapest bottle on the table, and it's in the top 2. Let's move on and find out what's in second place. I kind of want the Silver Grove to win now, I really do. And remember, I thought this, if I'm not mistaken, was the Bernheim. If so, this new Riff Silver Grove won. Let's find out what number we've got. Is it 2 or is it 4? No way. No way. Silver Grove from New Riff just won our first lineup on the channel. I am in complete shock. This happens to me every time. My friends come over, they watch me get humbled by my palate. It happens every single time. The bottles I think that are gonna win inevitably fail, and the bottles that have no business doing so win. We're gonna move you down here to Bernheim, and Silver Grove from New Riff is somehow the winner of our first tasting. Unbelievable. We're gonna take one more celebratory sip from the old girl here. I mean, it's just solid. That is a solid pour. If you see this, which I don't know if this hit distribution or not. I was under the impression this was a distillery only, gift shop only bottle. If I'm wrong, someone let me know in the comments. If this is somehow all over Ohio and I just don't know any better, let me know. I think this is distillery only, but if it's not and you see one and it's 60 bucks, grab it. It beat the pants off everything on this table. I'm not saying anything else here was bad, but this to me was a clear winner. I really enjoyed this. Thought the flavor was great. The proof was great. Everything was phenomenal about this bottle at 113.5 proof. 4-year aged. That is incredible. So my 4 roses here is 9 years, 8 months. Does Russell's Reserve tell me? Is this a 10-year or no? Do we know? I don't know if we know. Well, it's something. The Bernheim, do we know on this one? Is this not age stated? Not age stated. Cool. And we know what's in this. It's 12, 7, 12, and 6, but most of it is 12. 77% of this is 12 year. 4-year-old new Riff just smoked all those bottles. So if y'all liked what you saw here on the channel today, please leave a like and a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if we can upgrade the experience here. We're slowly building the set. It's a little sparse right now, but we're going to continue to work on lighting and props and, you know, instruments, other things of that nature. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when these videos go live. YouTube doesn't always do the best job of letting subscribers know when new content is posted, so hitting that notification bell will send a push notification to your phone or your device letting you know that a new video has been posted. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this, what other bottles you want to see. I've got kind of a running list of ideas for tasting videos, you know, seeing if certain bottles that are chased by people are worth the hype, and seeing what lower end bottles might be better than some of those crazy hype bottles. Thanks again for stopping by and checking out this video. I'm going to go ahead and put this Silver Grove in my safe so no one can ever have any more, since apparently it's the best thing known to man. And we will see you all in the next video. Thanks!